industry, everybody's got a story, but nobody wants to file the paperwork. Promises get made in bright lights, broken in dark corners, and buried under enough PR fog to choke a whale. That's when people start looking over their shoulders. That's when they start whispering one name, the tax man. That's me. I keep the ledger. I track the debts. I collect what's owed, truth, accountability, and every last scrap of evidence that didn't want to be found. And today, I didn't walk in alone. You see, an audit like this takes a crew. First up, a man with a magnifying glass and the patience of a saint, Lord Crocosquirrel, the forensic auditor. The man who digs through the rubble, sifts through the fire, and if there's a detail you missed, he didn't. If there's a lie hidden in the margins, he's already circled it in red. Then there's the muscle behind the math, Mr. Len, the IRS special agent. He doesn't ask twice. He doesn't blink. He doesn't negotiate. When the numbers don't add up, he's the one who knocks on the door and reminds the guilty that overdue debts have a way of collecting themselves. Together, we're not here to spin tales or sell fantasies. We're here to open the books, to peel back the layers, to shine a light on the stories that this industry keeps tucked under the floorboards. So settle in, folks. The streets outside may be loud, but in here, right now, there's only the ledger, the truth, and the three of us ready to drag it all into the daylight. I am the tax man, and welcome to the audit. Today we are talking about Sony and their timeline to control. We're going to start in March 2026. Sony removes all mention of PC from single-player titles in March 2026.
That move.
Yes.
In fact, it was pretty much unanimous. You're correct. It's a very bad move.
Yes. April 2026. More specifically, April 16th, 2026. The EU Stop Killing Games. The Stop Killing Games hearing was heard in the EU Parliament. May 18th, 2026. We're highlighting this for a couple of reasons. One, Sony chairman Kenichiro Yoshida sells 400,000 shares of Sony stock, valued at the time worth $9,444,000.
All right, hold on a second with that. So that's not Sony Interactive Entertainment stuff. That's general Sony corporate stuff. What's the difference? Sony in general and that rest of the stuff. That if I remember right there was, yeah, and I seem to recall that at some point it would be furniture lines. That's what I heard. Is that true? I don't, but I heard. Sony Interactive Entertainment is almost entirely a separate business built in 7. That particular reason ran off into the United States and settled in Los Angeles area. Where did he go for the day?
Yes.
Yes.
Does it show where the karaoke is? No one does?
This one is
could be right from the beginning themselves. But it is interesting, to say the least.
Number 2, Chief Digital Officer Kodera Tsuyoshi sells 17,500 shares of Sony General Stock, valued at the time.
Where is your microphone?
I'm right here. Valued at the time $395,675. June 3rd, 2026. An invitation-only meeting involving Ubisoft's Jules Gullimont and the European Commission took place. The meeting was hosted by Video Games Europe and did not, and I stress did not, include representatives of the Stop Killing Games initiative.
Because of course not. When I try to attack those people.
June 16th. The EU rejects Stop Killing Games demands and instead forms a voluntary ethics board. The very next day, Chief Digital Officer sells an additional 51,000 shares of Sony stock valued at $1,047,000 for a grand total of $1.74 million.
That's fine, I shot.
June 25th, 2026. We all know what Rockstar did with the Grand Theft Auto 6 announcement. $100 price tag, and for the true Grand Theft Auto 6 experience, and no physical disc for the game.
That's right, because the base edition is, I think, 70, and then they jacked it up, or it's either 70 or 80, and then, you know, and the sacrificing for the edition was priced at $100. Which doesn't actually mean standard that some journalists way back in the day said, because that's the thing that actually happens quite often. Talk to, I don't know, Malcolm. They like to set up, they like to put things up at a reasonable price. And they kick out $150 for the next one. What else is on that? I don't think I need to go down that list. It's long, it's extensive, and you're looking for games that are going to run over 100 watts. After further super advanced edition. Yeah, no, it's just one it really is.
June 28th, 2026. Sony decides to have a hold my beer moment by removing 551 movies from people's libraries without refunds due to expired license with Studio Canal.
Because the last time that happened, the last time something like that happened, there was blood. In fact, I'm pretty sure it wasn't even something.
All of that sets the stage for this. July 1st, 2026. The blog post heard round the world. And we all know the headlines. Sony disc production ending January 2028 for new games releasing on PlayStation consoles. But what happened 2 days later really set the stage for silence. July 3rd, 2026. Sony president Toki Hiroki sells 225,000 shares of Sony stock, valued at $4.7 million. Chief Strategy Officer Mimoto Toshimoto sells 25,000 shares of Sony stock, valued at $525,000. July 7th, 2026. Sony tweets on X for the first time in 6 days following the announcement. It was for an arcade stick. On July 31st, 2026, Sony had an earnings call with investors, not with everyone else who mattered. And CFO Lin Tao said this. I'm going to read it to you verbatim. There are various reasons we made the decision, the biggest being that digitalization of content overall has been progressing. That's the big factor. Not just for PlayStation, but for all kinds of content, digitalization is progressing. So when we think about the future, we put in a lot of thought and time, and we cautiously consider this. And we come to this conclusion. We're going to cautiously move this forward. And to this decision, we have received various opinions and people have strong views. We understand this community has put forth this view to us. Games are loved by many people. It's a form of entertainment that's loved by people. It is connected to people's fond memories in many cases. So we understand those emotions. We want to consider that. And in the future digital ecosystem, how do we engage the gamers is something we would like to continue to explore. Lady Day, a YouTuber from the UK, made a very good point in her video shortly after that statement was made. And I'm going to use this as a launching point for the rest of the panel. Why is Sony cutting off physical media in 2028 in the middle of the PS5's lifespan instead of waiting for the launch of PS6? All right, panel, have at it.
Okay, first, Josh, instead of waiting for the PlayStation, they should have waited for the PlayStation 6, my opinion. I could be wrong. But to go with all of that, turning this into an online-only sort of beast. Well, we get enough of that PC games that, well, for some reason, will not operate without an internet connection. You know, Diablo 3, we're looking at you, where you can play a completely single-player mode, and you still have to be connected so that the server can send down maps. Yup. That's why
I want Diablo 3 on console, so I can play it offline.
Actually, no, you still can't.
No, on console you can.
Oh, really? Because that's not what I heard. I didn't buy it on console because, yeah, that's restricted at best.
Well, it's like this was back in the 360 PS3 era.
Not for Diablo 3, it wasn't.
Yeah, well,
Diablo 3 is newer than that.
No, it's not. It actually isn't.
Okay.
It's an old game by now.
Oh, wow. Okay. I forgot, apparently.
Yeah,
I've been known to be wrong.
360.
My condolences. Might have to get a PS3
I
copy.
enjoy playing it offline.
I might have to see if I can find a PS3 version.
Now,
But, yeah, every reason it had to go offline was obliterated when the auction house went south.
oh yes,
Yeah.
And they
And we
wanted
don't
to
talk
bring
about
it
that
to Diablo Immortal.
cash online shop.
And they wanted to bring it to Diablo Immortal too.
Well, Diablo 2 was its own little problem, but I think, don't quote me on this, but I think the rebuild they did here relatively recently was also supposed to have an online component. As in, you still had to get connected SimCity stuff.
No, it's, you have to do online strictly if you want to do multiplayer, but it does have an offline mode to it.
Yeah, well, all I know is the copy of Diablos 3 and 4 that I have on hand. I can't turn the internet off and just play them. I tried
For 3 and
more than
4
once.
now, but for the 2 remaster, yes, you can.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. At least they still kept that.
Well, what was EA's excuse? If you're not having the best, if you're not playing it online, you're not having the best experience or a good experience. That's what it was.
Well, EA never has
no.
reasons, only excuses.
I seem to recall someone who's talking about surprise mechanics. Yeah, that was a thing that happened. I was laughed about for years.
Okay, here's one for you. How about charging a nickel for every bullet ammo reload?
It'd be great if I could hear Sanji. What do you think, Len?
Would be nice.
Yeah.
Okay, how about charging a bullet? How about charging a nickel for every ammo reload?
You know, I can keep my microphone within 6 inches of my face. Probably the best. You should probably be able to do it too.
Okay, how about charging a nickel for every ammo reload?
Mm-hmm.
That's another EA original.
Oh, jeez. EA and original. Why does that not seem to work? Sounds like an oxymoron to me, anyway. Or at least my hypocrisy.
Yeah. Okay. Since we actually have a crowd here, do we actually have questions from the audience?
I think Sanji's mic'd out again.
No, not really. How about you first, sir?
I just want to hear your opinions
Who?
on, Caleb here. I just want to hear your opinions on the ongoing PlayStation blackout. And how do you think that will affect anything at all?
Actually, it might. If you've got enough adherence, it might have a significant effect because a lot of people, unless they're absolute PlayStation fanboys or that's the only platform they've got, unlikely at best. Not playing PSN-based games, not difficult. I have a couple thousand games that I can play that aren't based around Sony or any of its subsidiaries. And I've been doing exactly that. I haven't played a Sony game in months.
Any other questions?
Again, if you get enough people that sign on for this, yeah, they're gonna think twice about some things. Probably not all the things, but some of them.
Okay.
When is the blackout supposed to be for the Sony?
Okay, so somebody is asking when the Sony blackout's supposed to be. It's supposed to be August 23rd through the 30th, I believe. Yeah.
Let me check. Yes, the 23rd through the 30th.
Okay, so.
No login, no playing online, or purchasing from the PlayStation Store.
Any other questions?
Yeah, Mello here. Brandon over here. obviously. I'm outraged just like you guys. What do you guys think should be the path moving forward for us to channel these emotions? Should we divest ourselves of Sony completely? Should we just go rampantly into piracy? What direction do you guys think we should be going in?
Well, piracy is probably not going to be the option right away, especially if you're really attached to the PS5 games that are actually out, and there are really not that many compared to PS4 or even PS3, and nobody's going to be able to top the original PlayStation library. So yeah, you could play those. There's no online components to them, but you can play them. As far as piracy, I wouldn't recommend it, but I also won't say that it's impossible to do, at least as far up as the PlayStation 4. As far as divesting oneself of one's hardware portfolio, probably also not a good idea. But generally speaking, if you can deny deny a piece of hardware an online connection, most games will work. And the ones you don't, you probably don't want to be playing them anyway.
Yeah, a lot of times the first online connection hampers the gameplay experience.
Yeah, I know. It takes a game that'll run at 144 frames and cut it down to 30. That's been known to happen. I've had that happen.
Yeah, and keep in mind that the PS5 happens to be the first generation of consoles that allowed de novo anti-tab tampering.
Yeah, de novo is a serious pain in the ass. There are ways to get around it, but I wouldn't put any bets in right now. Because it could take anywhere from a week to a month to actually there are some de novo games that are released that still haven't been cracked. Because that's a year out.
All right, we have another question.
Well, most of the time those games just aren't worth cracking.
True, not gonna lie.
Yeah, because it's like there have also been times where it's like a game with de novo gets released and it's cracked within 24 hours.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, but de novo is basically it's the most sociopathic weapon used against paying customers.
Yes,
and that's always the problem. That is always the problem.
Yeah,
you're not hindering the pirates. You're not hindering the pirates. You're screwing over the people. You're screwing over the people that are coughing up money.
Yeah, the pirate has the more technically superior copy of the game.
All right, we have another
Or at
question.
least not as. Yeah, I know, right? Early versions of Video were known to destroy SSDs. They managed to cut that down a bit, but still.
All right, we have another question.
So, Alloy here. Now, the other day I was browsing on YouTube and I noticed something from a content creator by the name of Garrett the Gamer. And he had mentioned something about how people have started coming out with emulators for PlayStation 5 games. What's y'all's thoughts on that?
Okay. Now, here's the catch. Okay, if you have a physical copy of a game and you have an emulator, this is absolutely legal to do. But only if the people that made the emulator didn't get a spec sheet or a reverse engineer sheet from some external form, or worse, the actual technical specifications and dev kits. If you code it if the emulator is coded from scratch and it works, then fine. Online only games are going to get paid in the ass. But if you can find a way to dump the game, then you're probably still on pretty good legal ground. If you download them from some extra place, yeah, not so much.
By and
That
large,
turns out-
though, ROMs are a legal way to play games that you own.
Yes. But usually you have to be able to dump the games yourself. That's the big catch. Now I have lots and lots and lots of some of the really old stuff, and I like the idea of emulators. It means I don't have to look to my right and then try and set up the machine that doesn't want to be. If that makes any damn sense.
Try to connect
I still have the machines.
to your monitor.
Oh no, I've done that. That I can do. That's easy. That shit is dead easy. And sometime later, I will actually, at some point, I will describe the process to you. But it is possible to get take component outputs, and with a little box you can turn it into an HDMI signal, and you're golden.
Yep, I actually have one of those converters for PlayStation. To use for PlayStation 2. Converting it to the cable stage HDMI.
Okay,
And
so,
it takes, once you got it set up, it takes 15 seconds. You switch machines, and that's good. Of course, that's my opinion. And as before, I could be wrong.
yeah,
But yeah, no, the only people that have managed to take down an emulator, specifically, was Nintendo with a critter called Yuzu.
yeah.
They found some of their actual code on board the emulator and said, no fuck. They tried to get the other one, Ryujinx. The original folks took the Ryujinx down. But they gave us another group set up a fork of it, because you could still get it. It was just not on that website, and then they continued forward. You can still get Ryujinx, and it's still being updated. And that's actually a Switch emulator.
Okay,
But it's like Nintendo. If you've got an SNES emulator, they don't care. NES emulator, they don't care. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, they actually stole a version of one of the Super Nintendo ones, SNEX 9X something. I don't know. I don't remember off the top of my head, and then used that on the Switch because it's much simpler. They may have bought rights. I don't know. I don't think so. Because you can see the marks. You can see the marks that the emulator left. The other consoles, all of the other consoles and handhelds up to the Switch, they just seem to be ignoring for the time being. Unless your name is Pocket Pair, in which case they're just going to send the bollocks off you.
yeah,
Which they have been actually losing in the trademark fights. It's fun.
yeah. That's a fun story.
Or the patent fights.
Yeah, that's actually a fun story that we can get into, but later. But actually, now is actually a good time for us to segue into a giveaway. Bring the box.
We have a giveaway. Okay.
We are giving away 2 first prizes of a mug. Not necessarily courtesy of our friends at Fourth Wall, but we will be receiving them from our friends at Fourth Wall. And one of these swag, nice little embroidered shirts or printed shirts, dealer's choice. You have to be present to win. So if you're here, congratulations. You have a 90% chance of winning. So,
If you are not here, then the chance of it happening goes way down. So.
Yeah.
Everyone who's not here, raise your hand.
All right.
How many hands did we get? How many hands did we get there, Sanji?
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hands so far.
Okay, so those people are here.
All right.
Ain't that a shame?
All right, I'm going to call out the last two numbers. If they match, get with me on Discord at Sanji Himura, and we will exchange PII for your order to go through. 6-5 for the mug. 4-9 for the mug. 5-0 for the shirt. You're 5-0? Yep. All right, congratulations, you won the shirt. All right. I get to draw 2 more. And I don't get 2 more. 5-3 for the shirt. For the 5-3 for the mug.
Guess who do you prefer, a shirt or a mug? Maybe, I don't know.
5-9 for the mug. Congratulations, you won.
They're nice coffee mugs.
Yes, they're-
Small for my case, but that's good.
We have 1 more mug to give away. 4-8 for the mug. 4-8 for the mug. 6-1 for the mug. 5-1 for the mug.
Give me that.
All right, congratulations.
Give me that.
Yes.
That's the way. You tell them.
All right. As we leave you with some final thoughts. From myself. I'm reminded of the words of Charlton Heston from the 1968 movie Planet of the Apes.
Well, honestly, it's already the Planet of the Apes. We're apes.
Right, but these words are especially relevant today. Every time our country stands in the path of danger, an instinct seems to summon her finest first, those who truly understand her. When freedom shivers in the cold shadow of true peril, it's always the patriots who first hear the call. When loss of liberty is looming as it is now, the siren first sounds first in the hearts of freedom's vanguard. The smoke in the air of our Concord bridges and Pearl Harbors is always smelled first by the farmers who come from their simple homes to find the fire and fight because they know that their sacred stuff resides in the blue stock and blue steel, something that gives the most common man the most uncommon of freedoms. When ordinary hands possess such an extraordinary instrument that symbolizes the full measure of human dignity and liberty, that's why those 5 words issue an irresistible call to us all, and we must. So, as we set forth this year to defeat the decisive forces that would take freedom away, I want to say those fighting words for everyone within the sound of my voice to hear and to heed. Especially to you, Miss Lynn. From my cold, dead hands. Woo!
You will take my physical copies of my games out of my cold dead paws.
All right, thank you for coming to W2 Report Live. And Be sure to leave feedback on the Fanguru app. And thank you for coming again. And again, if you want a prize, please be sure to get with me on Discord at Sanji Himura.
What's this?
And be sure to get with me on Discord at Sanji Himura for your order, for your prices to go through. You'll be getting them shipped directly from Fourth Wall, and I will see you guys next year for another Earth-ish episode of Irving Tales. Thank you.
Hey, brothers. Good job. We were here at yeah, let's give me your picture of the rocks.
All right. Mug, shirt, mug.